Oh my days, what the hell just happened there? I'm genuinely scratching my head. So gutted. Manchester United have lost 1-0 against Crystal Palace. And that performance was spineless, heartless, lacked fight, lacked bite, lacked attacking threat, lacked goals, lacked composure, lacked everything that you should be wanting to associate with a Manchester United side. It was so poor out there today. And, we can look at some decisions which didn't go our way. I thought we should have had a Stonewall penalty. There was a few other moments as well where we were really unfortunate to see the ball just trickle wide and stuff like that. But, oh my God, that performance. You can't even focus on the decisions because we just didn't help ourselves. It was so spineless, so poor from Manchester United. And the sad thing is, it doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me at all. And the whole dressing room, players, managers, staff, everybody has to take a look at themselves and has to question what the fuck's going on because, we've had pre-season to prepare. Yes, brother. We've had pre-season to prepare. We've had all this time with Ten Hag. We're getting players back fit now. And still putting in a performance like that is just shocking. And it was like we had no idea out there today. We're attacking. We've got loads of possession of the ball. Crystal Palace are sitting back. They're holding on to their 1-0 lead. And after the Brighton game, I had nothing but positive things to say about Brighton. I thought Brighton were excellent. And this isn't a criticism of Crystal Palace. But Crystal Palace didn't have to be good today. They really didn't have to be any good today. They just sat in deep, 2 blocks. Yes, brother. 2 blocks. And swept up everything that we chucked at them. We try to get the ball wide. Then we go pass the ball in front of them, across the pitch, go back to the other flank, switch it to the other flank, get a crossing, that'd get blocked or whatever. It was just nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the positives that we picked up and we saw against Crystal Palace midweek, Amrabat coming into the team, Casemiro, Mason Mount, etc. I think we thought, right, we'll turn up. Crystal Palace might change a few players, but they won't change anything else. And it'll be light work, easy stuff. But Crystal Palace learned from the game on Wednesday. They also played a much better 11. The likes of Eze started for them, which give them a little bit more threat on the counter-attack. And Crystal Palace were much better. They closed down the lines a little bit better. They didn't, give those spaces on the flanks. Like Amrabat had time on the ball and Varane had time on the ball and all these players had time on the ball, but the players that they were receiving the ball didn't have all that space that they were having on Wednesday. And United just ran out of ideas, man. Ran out of ideas. I can't remember really Crystal Palace having much of a shot apart from the one that they scored with. I think there was one that Eze dribbled wide. He just tickled it wide, but man, what's going on? What is going on in this team? I've just been sat there as the ground emptied, just thinking, what is happening? Now, everyone knows I'm a massive fan of Eric Ten Hag. I still think Eric Ten Hag's the man to take us forward, but you have to start getting results. You can't be shaking up the dressing room and making all these decisions and not getting results, because if the results don't come, the pressure starts to build. Players start to question things of what's going on. Now, I don't think we should be sacking this manager, and I don't believe he's to blame for everything that's going wrong here, but there are some things that he could improve on. I thought Hannibal was a tap-in to start today. Why isn't he starting? We came in, you could have maybe then put Bruno out wide. We've seen as well with Pellistri and Garnacho, they don't really have the impression that we want them to have, in terms of, starting games. They're usually better off the bench. They can come on against tired legs and work things down the flank. So I thought it was a mistake to start Pellistri, who didn't really do much today for Manchester United, but nor did anybody else. Nor did anybody else from back to front. You look at the defence, Amrabat playing in that position. All right, I'm not going to blame Amrabat for this performance. Varane, Lindelof, got to do better. You got to be quicker with the ball at your feet at times. Diogo Dalot down the right. I thought he was one of our better players, to be fair. Him and Mason Mount in the first half were the only players that performed. Mason Mount did go off for Christian Eriksen. I found that a head scratcher. Mason Mount seemed to be doing more than most. Now look, he's just come back and His fitness is a worry, of course. You have to take that into consideration. But I did find that a little bit of a head scratcher to see him come off and Christian Eriksen go on. Christian Eriksen's not offering us enough, not enough legs. He came on as a substitute and he weren't quick enough. And you're like, we need more than that in that midfield area. Casemiro, he was excellent the other day against Crystal Palace. He was abysmal today against Crystal Palace. Bruno Fernandes, not good enough today. You know, as I said, I thought the lower Mason Mount were our best players in the first half out of a pretty poor bunch. And then that front three, Marcus Rashford, Højlund, Pellistri, didn't quite do it. Marcus Rashford came on as a substitute. And I'm a big fan again of Marcus Rashford, but your performances have to be a lot better. You have to be doing more. You know, you have to be doing more. You get so much time on the ball. You get the ball so many times. You're often the only outlet for us. You have to do more. You have to do more. You have to be getting at those those Crystal Palace defenders and twisting them up and potentially scoring goals. And wasn't good enough from Marcus Rashford today either. And look, after the game midweek, I think everyone came out with like, Bruno Fernandes and Rashford, as soon as you take them out of the team, United win. And it looks like that right now. I don't think that's the case. I think Palace will play a much poorer team midweek. And I think Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford are very important players to Manchester United. But Marcus Rashford in particularly probably could do from being dropped. But then you look at it, Garnacho, is he good enough right now to be starting games week in, week out? You know, Pellistri's another one. You could potentially put Anthony Martial out there, but Jadon Sancho's not about. Anthony's not about. We're missing players in those wide areas, and you know Marcus Rashford is often one of the only ones still available or ready to start games. So you know it's difficult for the manager. But games like this, look, against Brighton, they battered us, but we can't be letting Crystal Palace today. They just came and went, right, we'll be resolute. We'll get a chance going forward, and if we do, let's take it, because then we'll win the game. And that's exactly what happened today. And Erik ten Hag has to get a grip of this. I support him. I'm fully behind him, and I hope he does that. But we've lost 4 out of 7 league games already this season. We've lost back-to-back home games. We got Galatasaray coming up here at Old Trafford. This was the start of a run of home fixtures. You got Brentford here next week. I was thinking Palace, Galatasaray, Brentford, 3 wins in a week. Start turning your season around. Struggling right now. And I genuinely don't know what's going on. At the start of the season, I know we had a laugh and a joke and said we're going to win the league and that. I didn't think we were going to win the league, but I thought we'd be much better. I thought we'd be much closer to those at the top of the table. And even with City losing today, Manchester United just keep falling further back from that top 4. I think it's 7 points now, and we don't look like making up any time soon. Abysmal performance here. The weather sums things up at Old Trafford. What is going on? Look, I'm still behind Erik ten Hag, but he really needs to get a grip of this right now. Results matter. Anyway, let us know your thoughts. See you in a bit.